Hi, I'm Meredith Plummer, and welcome to my Storytime studio.
Across 7 vast seas and over 7 rugged mountain ranges, there was a magnificent forest. Its trees were tall and the bush beneath them thick. Here and there the forest opened to a sparkling pond or sandy glade. It was a beautiful place. What made it extraordinary was a deer who lived there. It was a stag, larger than any you or I have ever seen, and with perfect glossy brown fur. Its antlers seemed almost as long as its body and branched more times than I could count. Stories about the deer spread far and wide. Hunters came from all directions to try and capture the stag. But no matter how many arrows they let fly, none came close. Finally, the king learned about the deer. He began to daydream about shooting it and mounting its antlers on the palace walls. How grand the room would look! What a testament to his hunting skills! No sooner had he entered the forest than he saw the deer grazing peacefully. He let an arrow fly, but the deer heard the bow's twang and disappeared between the trees. The king took chase. He was swift, swifter than his servants, and soon he left them in the dust. The king was also persistent. He went deeper and deeper into the forest. Over and again he caught a glimpse of the deer, but over and again it disappeared. None of the king's arrows hit the mark. Finally, he arrived in a place where the bush was too thick to continue. He looked around and he realized that he had no idea where he was, nor could he see the deer. He was hot and tired and thirsty, and he was also lost. He saw the sparkle of water through the trees. But the only way to get there was on hands and knees. So he began to crawl through the bush, pushed his way through bush after bush until finally he was there, next to the pond. He leaned down to drink his fill and toppled over, losing his crown in the process. The king struggled to stand up, but once upright, he found that he could not move his feet. He was sinking. The more he tried to free himself, the deeper he sank. He was caught in quicksand. The nearby trees were out of reach, and there was nothing he could do. He began to cry for help. Help, 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 he said. But no one was in earshot. He struggled some more, but all he succeeded in doing was sinking deeper into the sand. He began to lose hope. If no one came, he was sure to die. Suddenly, a nose poked out of the bush, followed by the entire head and antlers of the very deer whom the king had pursued. It walked slowly and carefully toward the king, placed its feet on solid ground, and then bowed its head toward the king. The antlers were within arm's reach. The king looked at the deer. Its gentle eyes seemed to be saying yes. It moved its antlers closer to the king as though inviting him to take hold of them. The king could hardly believe his good fortune. He clung onto the antlers. The deer slowly raised its head and pulled the king free. As soon as he was on solid ground, the king bowed before the deer. "You are truly a noble creature. You saved the very one who was determined to kill you. An act such as this deserves a rich reward." Even on the hunt, the king carried gold. He searched in his robe for his pouch, but when he offered his rescuer, the deer, his gold, it took no notice. By then, the deer had found a patch of forage and was busily moving from one branch to the next, savoring the crisp and juicy leaves. At that moment, the king knew that the right reward was to allow the deer to live in peace. When he returned to the palace, the king decreed that the entire forest would be a sanctuary. Never again did he hunt for sport. My question for you today is this: what do you do to care for the animals, the plants, and all of creation all around you? You can share your answer with a family member or a friend, or go to the First Unitarian Church's Facebook page and share your answer on our wall. #InterconnectedWeb.